Okay, next let's welcome K9A Isaac with the true story of the three little pigs.
Hello everyone, today I am going to tell you the story of the true story of the three little pigs. Everybody knows the true story of the three little pigs. Well, at least they think like do. But I'm literally have a little secret. Nobody knows the real story because nobody has ever heard my side of the story. I am the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Al. I don't know how this whole Big Bad Wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault. Wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies, sheep, and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think you were big and bad too. But like I was saying, the whole Big Bad Wolf thing was all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. Way back in once upon a time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneezing cold. I ran out of sugar. So I walked down the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now, this neighbor was a pig, and he wasn't too bright either. He had built his house of straw. Can you believe it? I mean, who in his right mind would build a house of straw? So of course, the minute I knocked on the door, and it fell right in. I didn't just want to walk into someone else's house, so I called, Little pig, are you in? No answer. I was just about to go home without my cup of sugar. That's when my nose started to itch. Well, I huff and I stuff and I sneeze a great sneeze. Achoo! And you're not going to believe it. But this whole darn straw house fell down, and right in the middle of the pile of straw was the first little pig, dead as a doornail. It seemed like a shame to think it. Perfectly good hand dinner, just lying there in a pile of straw. So I ate it up, sick of it as a big cheeseburger just lying there. I was feeling a little better, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar. So I went to the next neighbor's house. This neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not much. He had built his house of sticks. I rang the doorbell on the stick house. Ding dong. Nobody answered. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in? He yelled back. Go away, Wolf. You can't come in. I'm shaving my hair on my chinny chin chin. I had just grabbed the doorknob. That's when my cold coming on. So I huff and I snuff and I try to cover my mouth, but I sneeze once again. Achoo! And you're not going to believe it, but this guy's house fell down just like his brother's. When the dust cleared, there was the second little pig there as the door now. What's honor? You know, food will get spoiled if you just leave it out in the open. So I did the only thing there was to do. I had dinner again. Think of it as a second helping. I was feeling awfully full, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar. And I still didn't have my cup of sugar. So I went to the next house. This guy was the first and second little pig's brother. He must have been the brains of the family. He had built his house of bricks. I knocked on the brick house. No answer. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in? And do you know what that rude little porker answered? Get out of here, Wolf. Don't bother me again. Talk about impolite. He probably had a whole sack full of sugar, and he wouldn't give me one little cup for my dear old granny's birthday cake. What a pig! I was just about to go home and make a nice birthday cup except for a birthday cake. That's when I felt my cold coming off. When I huffed and I snuffed and I sneezed once again. Achoo! And the son little pig yelled, "Hey, you old granny, can sit on a pig." Now, I'm usually a pretty calm fellow, but when somebody talks about my granny like that, I go a little crazy. When the cow strolls on, of course I was trying to break this pig's door. And the whole time I was huffing and snuffing and sneezing, and I'm making a real scene. The rest, as they say, is history. The news reporters found out the 2 pigs I had for dinner. They figured out a sick guy going to borrow sugar didn't sound very exciting. So they jazz up the story with all that huff and puff and blow your house down. And then make me the big bad wolf. This is the real story. I was right, but maybe you could loan me a cup of sugar. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.